In this presentation, we'll delve into the storyline of the 2014 movie, Black Panther. This film chronicles the intertwined lives of a brother and sister, bound not only by the shared grief over their parents' demise but also by a clandestine truth. Will they ever confess their feelings for one another? And what unfolds when Emily's husband discovers her secret connection with her brother? Let's explore these questions. The narrative opens with a glimpse into the life of Emily, a young woman navigating her way through the scenic Swiss Alps. The scene quickly transitions to Emily and her husband Andreas, driving to a dilapidated house nestled in the forest. This house, a relic from Emily's childhood, has come into focus because Emily and Andreas are in financial distress. After the death of her parents, Emily assumed responsibility for her father's business, which she now runs with Andreas. However, financial troubles loom large, and they consider selling the old house to inject some much-needed funds into their faltering business. As Emily tours the house, waves of nostalgia wash over her, evoking vivid memories of her childhood. Despite the emotional connection to her home, she is resolved to sell it. Later that day, Emily's excitement is palpable when her younger brother Jacob arrives for a visit. Studying abroad has kept him away for years, making this reunion all the more special. Emily playfully notes that Jacob has grown taller than her, yet their light-hearted reunion is marred by Jacob's cold reception to Andreas. Opting not to engage, Jacob retreats to his room immediately after meeting Andreas. In an unexpected late-night visit, Jacob checks in on Emily, only to find her spirit dimmed from the vibrant girl he remembered. Confusion and concern hang in the air as Emily wonders about the purpose of her brother's nocturnal visit. The following morning, Emily and Andreas made concerted efforts to connect with potential purchasers for their home. Andreas engaged in a phone conversation with a prospective buyer, but he was unable to finalize the sale. Being newcomers in the neighborhood, they found it challenging to establish connections, which hindered their ability to sell the property. Subsequently, Andreas needed to return to the city for a business meeting with a client. He shared a warm embrace with Emily before departing in his vehicle. In the subsequent scene, the narrative contrasts the stability in Jacob's life with Emily's. Jacob, a professional skateboarder, has toured multiple cities and enjoys a certain level of career stability. While skateboarding through town, Jacob stops at a local store to pick up some items. Inside, he discovers a newspaper headline about a Black Panther sighting in a local backyard, and notices an advisory from local authorities urging residents to stay indoors due to the potential danger posed by the animal. Exiting the store, Jacob encounters Andreas, who requests that he look after his sister while he's away on business. Andreas becomes irritated upon perceiving Jacob's seemingly nonchalant demeanor. Later, Jacob finds Emily busy cleaning the house, discarding unnecessary items. During their conversation, he expresses his concern over their plans to sell the house, mentioning that he has an interest in it as well. He feels neglected by his older sister, which Emily swiftly denies, reassuring him of his importance to her. Jacob then shares the news of the Black Panther, urging Emily to stay cautious. That evening, with Andreas away, Emily experiences loneliness and starts to tackle some work duties, feeling a mix of emotions that she finds hard to decipher, including complex feelings towards her brother. When she retires to her room for the night, Jacob quietly follows and watches her from the staircase as she changes into her nightwear, marking a poignant and uncomfortable moment in their relationship. The following morning, Jacob chooses to spend time with Emily because he believes she might feel lonely by herself. He heads to the garage and discovers his father's old, non-functioning motorcycle. Over the next several hours, he dedicates himself to fixing the bike. Once repaired, Jacob invites Emily for a ride, rekindling memories of their past adventures. Together, the siblings travel along deserted roads flanked by mountains and towering trees, soaking in the picturesque landscape. Feeling content, they park the motorcycle next to a mountain and unwind among the rocks, surrounded by the tranquility of the forest. During this serene moment, Jacob opens up about his emotions, sharing with Emily how much he has missed her and his joy at their reunion. Emily reciprocates, expressing her desire to return to the closeness they enjoyed in their youth. As they stroll through the forest, they reminisce about their childhood experiences. Jacob shares his once-planned adventure with their father to climb a mountain for its stunning views, a dream that now disappoints him due to its unlikelihood. The following day, while engaging in household tasks, Emily reveals her and her partner Andrea's intentions to sell the house, explaining the financial support it would offer their family business. Jacob, however, shows no outward reaction. As they finish their chores, the siblings find themselves in a close and intimate moment, revealing that their feelings for each other had been unresolved for years, dating back to when their parents were alive. During a walk in the woods, Emily experiences unexpected romantic feelings for Jacob, despite her marriage and their sibling relationship. Caught up in the moment, she fantasizes about a life together with Jacob as more than siblings. Their intimate moment is suddenly disrupted by a group of hunters searching for a Black Panther, previously mentioned in the news. Despite the presence of the dangerous animal, the siblings feel unthreatened and choose to seek shelter in the forest for the night. At dawn, they wake up to the sight of a mourning dove, which calms Emily. With renewed determination, they decide to fulfill Jacob's dream of hiking up the mountain. However, after climbing only a few rocks, Emily admits to being too tired to continue. They decide to rest on the rocks, enjoying the view until nightfall, then return to their childhood home. That night, in a moment of escalating passion, Emily approaches Jacob as he changes clothes. She starts to undress, escalating the tension between them. Jacob, unable to resist, draws her close, and they share an intimate encounter, their emotions intensifying with each moment they spend together. Over the next several days, the bond between the siblings grew stronger than it had ever been. They devoted all their time to each other, feeling as though they were the only two people in the world. One day, while spending time together, Jacob queried Emily about her feelings for him, leading to a passionate embrace and kiss. Subsequently, they ventured to a nearby lake for a swim. After their swim, as they meandered through the woods, Emily's phone rang. It was Andreas checking in on her. Choosing to ignore the call, she focused on her time with Jacob, who had now become her priority. Returning home, they were greeted by a middle-aged man outside their house. He expressed interest in buying their home, having seen advertisements for it. Surprisingly, Emily, contrary to her previous intentions and much to Jacob's astonishment, declined the offer and suggested the man contact her husband first. That evening, Emily entered Jacob's room, attempting to seduce him once again. Their intimacy deepened, culminating in them making love and falling asleep together. The following morning, Jacob confessed to Emily his desire to keep the house and his decision not to sign the sale documents. Emily reacted with visible frustration upon hearing this. Jacob soon came to realize that Emily might be manipulating the situation for her own benefit. This revelation sparked a fierce argument, disrupting the newfound harmony between them. Despite Emily's attempts to clarify her intentions, Jacob remained unconvinced. Ultimately, he declared that they should sell the house to ensure they would not have to interact again. Distraught, Emily wept in the backyard while Jacob prepared to leave, leaving her to contemplate her actions and their repercussions alone in the house. She recognized her reluctance to part ways with him, but the financial needs of her husband's business compelled her to proceed with the sale. The following morning, Andreas woke Emily with news that the house had found a buyer. As she and Andreas began clearing out the house, Jacob returned. He avoided conversation, collected his belongings, signed the necessary paperwork, and departed without a word. Emily rushes to intercept him and bursts into tears in his embrace. She even pecks at his neck, but Jacob seems unaffected by her gestures now. When Andreas witnesses this, he understands that Emily and Jacob share a bond deeper than mere siblings. Jacob departs regardless, and Emily confides in Andreas that she cannot bring herself to sign the sale documents for the house because she is not ready to let it go. Despite her decision, Andreas opts to stay by Emily's side out of love for her. The pair then gets into Andreas' car and drives away from the house. At a stop along their journey, Andreas pulls over at a rest area and leaves Emily alone in the car. During this time alone, Emily ponders her complex feelings for Jacob and ultimately decides to sign the papers, agreeing to sell the house. Though aware of Andreas' unwavering affection for her, Emily acknowledges that her feelings for him are not as profound. Taking advantage of his brief absence, she leaves the signed documents in his car and walks away. In the concluding scene, Andreas comes to realize that Emily is willing to sacrifice everything, including their shared childhood home, to be with Jacob. Although she resolves to let go of the house, she cannot sever her ties with Jacob, as theirs is a love deemed inappropriate by all. Emily ventures back into the forest in search of her brother, driven by this undeniable bond. The story underscores a poignant lesson about the relentless pursuit of true love, no matter how taboo it may be perceived. However, it also serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of such forbidden affections, exemplified by the tumultuous experiences of Emily and Jacob.